everyone. I'm Randy Floyd of Midwest Anxiety, and you're watching episode 4 of the Ask Randy Floyd Show. It's really nice. I'm here at Baker University on the Overland Park campus, and I've got two very special people here with me. I've got Tami from Baker University. She's the Director of Continuing Education, and I've got Kelsey here, Kelsey Brush, therapist of Midwest Anxiety. And I'm just really excited. Part of what we're doing is we're going out in the community and just talking with people about everyone's struggles and the concept behind it, and just the idea of trying to help our community normalize social and emotional struggles. And Tami and I met each other, and they thought it was a great idea to spread that message on their campus. And so we've got some great discussion going about what we might do with their campus, and then they're going to be a screening site for Race to Nowhere that we're going to screen on August 19th. So very excited about that, and very excited about getting out in the community and partnering with various people, and just really having the community come together and understand that just mental health, talking about mental health and just being aware of it, and understanding that we all struggle socially, emotionally, and for us to feel comfortable around that, I think it will make it a lot easier for all of us to be able, when we're struggling, to reach out to people. So thank you so much, Tami, for allowing us to come here and shoot this episode, but also really just your commitment to mental health in our community. So I feel like I think we'll ask you a couple questions, if that's okay. Sure. And so I guess, Tami, just tell us a little bit about Baker University. I know that it is the Wildcats.
It is the Wildcats.
The Wildcats there. So tell us a little bit about Baker.
Baker. We are the oldest university in the state of Kansas. Yeah, have to be older. And I didn't tell you this. Our first football game, we played KU.
Oh.
And we won. It's the only time we've ever beat KU, but I had to put that in there. Sorry. But we're the
David
oldest.
Beatty, you're all right.
It's okay. It's the only time we ever won, but I'm getting gold against KU. But we were founded in 1858, and that was before Kansas was even a state. And I love working here. I think you mentioned that we're on the Overland Park campus, but our main campus is actually in Baldwin City.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And approximately how many students do you have? And maybe tell us a little bit about your programs.
On our Baldwin campus, we have approximately 900 undergrads, but I'm here on our adult campus, so we have non-traditional students working on associate degrees, bachelor degrees, like in business, MBA, that type of thing. I work in our graduate school of ed. So we have teachers that are working on their master's degrees, and then like doctorate as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, we're out promoting everyone's struggles and the idea of our community coming together and really working with each other to be able to partner and then take this message out in the community and have people start to kind of understand that it's okay to reach out to people, and it's okay just to struggle at times, that we all do. So can you tell us a little bit about kind of what attracted you to kind of that concept?
Sure. Well, my daughter followed Midwest Anxiety, and so that's how I discovered Midwest Anxiety, and then saw the little 2-minute video about the August 19th event.
Okay.
And then I reached out to you.
Great.
I felt it was important, and I wanted to partner with you.
Well, big shout out to your daughter.
Yeah,
absolutely. We gotta give a shout out to
Sammy.
Thanks, Sammy. You're awesome. I also, at the same time, I should shout out to our support group is joining us live through Facebook Live. So hi, support group. So that's awesome to be able to do that. I know that we also have some partnership with the Olathe School District, and in the fall we'll be doing some programming in 4 Olathe middle schools with the idea that we're going to reach out to the middle schoolers and start to talk about social emotional struggle. So it's nice to come to Baker University and also be able to talk about that. And so I guess with that being said, I think we should get into the show. Should we get into the show?
Let's do it.
Let's get into the show. I have panic disorder, and I hate the way it makes me feel. Even though I know that I have panic disorder, I still can't seem to shake it. Any thoughts? Well, that's a great question. Panic disorder is one of those disorders where, the cognitive behavioral therapy that we talk about with the thoughts, the feelings, and the behaviors, you really can start to break that down. And when we start talking about panic, oftentimes people talk about these physiological symptoms that they have with their heart racing, or just a variety of other things, shortness of breath, just really their body responding in a way that is uncomfortable, and oftentimes people become scared of those physical feelings. Am I going to have a heart attack, or and so when we start kind of breaking this down into kind of a cognitive behavioral kind of way, we start looking at, okay, I'm having these feelings, but now I have all these thoughts that are generated, and the thoughts generally can be kind of like something bad's going to happen, and so when I start having those thoughts, then that kind of starts more of those feelings, and then as those feelings get going, then it just really becomes a storm of anxiety. And so I guess I should give a shout out to this book, Into Panic. This is a great book here that talks a lot about panic and just a way to kind of work through that. And really kind of my thoughts are with panic, as we're talking about, if you're struggling with panic and anxiety, is just the way that you start to think about those feelings has a lot to do with it. So, you can look at anxiety, and you can look at it from a term of anxiety is not hurtful. It's how you think about it that can be hurtful, it can be harmful, or it can be helpful. It can be harmful or it can be helpful. And I know it seems a little difficult sometimes to really be like, okay, this is just panic, no big deal, because you want to think, why is my body doing this, right? But really what we want to do is we want to start to look at those thoughts that you're having around it. And we want to start to kind of be able to kind of go into a place where your thoughts are distorted and maybe you're irrational and kind of all those things, and start to really kind of try to come back into a reality and say, okay, I'm feeling these things. Is it panic? Okay, it seems like panic. I've had this multiple times. I've gone to the doctor and they've told me that this is panic. And so I guess maybe it is panic. Maybe it is anxiety. And so kind of as we start to kind of change our thought process, what eventually happens is your body starts to respond to that also. It may not happen the first time or the second time, but as you start to change that thought process, then that kind of panic and that anxiety goes away. And that's really, I think, one of the keys to working through panic disorder is instead of kind of treating the physical symptoms of, I've got to make sure that my heart doesn't start racing, or I've got to really watch my breathing, because if I don't watch my breathing, then, I'm going to start freaking out and having a panic attack, is really just your mind around that. So, if I have a panic attack, and I know it sounds really weird, but if I have a panic attack, I have a panic attack. Okay, bring it on. There's all types of things that people do when they're going through treatment of panic disorder that really sometimes instead of so when we think of panic disorder, and we think of the feelings, and we've got the thoughts, and then the behaviors are a lot of times you want to stop it, you want to run away from it. And so sometimes people, when they're in treatment, what they'll do is they'll actually try to induce those panic-like symptoms. So the panic really is, the key to it is trying to find a way where you can really minimize this catastrophe that potentially is this medical catastrophe that could happen in your life. And really the way that you kind of do that in your thoughts, which I kind of always go back to in most everything that I do, is, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? Worst thing that could happen is I could die. I guess that would be the worst thing that could happen. And I think we get to a really good place if you can get to that place in your life or in your just anxiety work, and you can say, if I die, I guess I die. I know that sounds weird and that seems tragic, but kind of this mind game around this anxiety if you can get to that place, then I think that you're in a really good place. And the reality of it is none of us know right now if we'll be living in the next 10 seconds. Right? I mean, there isn't certainty in any of this. And so I think that's a key part of it, knowing, just wrestling with that uncertainty that, yeah, it may be a medical condition, it may be panic, but what's going to happen is when I kind of start to kind of wrestle with these thoughts and detangle it and the anxiety goes away, okay, I guess I lived through it. If I didn't live through it and I died, well, that was a medical condition. It's kind of like you rob Peter to pay Paul. It's like if you go with the anxiety, and I'm like, okay, hey, was that a good rob Peter to pay Paul? Was that all right? I don't know what it steal. I guess we'll go with that one. But if you feed into it and you look on the internet or you do those things or you go to a doctor, which a lot of times people do, then you feed that anxiety again. And so really the only way to go, I think, is to kind of work through it, is just really take that step out and really kind of that leap and just say, okay, I'm going to go with that it's panic. And if it was panic, it's going to subside. My thoughts are going to really chill it out. And then I'm going to just basically kind of learn a way to deal with my panic. So it's almost like kind of, I guess, playing a game to see if it's panic or if it's a real condition. And so I think if you can do that and you can get to a place with the anxiety where you're like, okay, I'm just going to try it out, then you'll see that you actually feel like you have more control now, because a lot of times people with panic feel like they're totally out of control. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. What can I do to help someone who may be struggling with anxiety, depression, or something else? That's a great question, and really I would like to start this off by saying that what I really believe is that you really have to put yourself in that other person's shoes. And I know that we can really have a lot of answers for them, and, well, this is what you should do, and those things. And I think if we can look that whatever they're experiencing is their perception, and you can kind of get in their shoes, then you can start to be empathetic. And I think empathy is, I talked about super skills in another episode. I think empathy is another super skill. And hey, that just gave me another idea, doing something on empathy here. But being empathetic is really important, I think, with someone that's struggling. I think what we have to, if you're a caregiver, if you're a friend, if you're a family member, is there's this natural tendency to get burnt out. Caregiver burnout, emotionally and physically burnout. And so I think there's times where you have to maybe take a step back and care for yourself a little bit. Not to say that you don't support that person, but just understand that when you're caring for someone, that you also are impacted by this. And so I think that you, as a way to support that person, you have to kind of also support yourself in a lot of ways and help yourself, then to be able to continue to help that person. So I don't know if you are familiar with Brene Brown, but I'm going to link up a couple of videos by Brene Brown. She talks a lot about empathy, and empathy is all about, as she's got a video which I truly love, she talks about that you have to go down with that person in their moments, in their places, and really just say, I got you, I get you. That's really, if you can just say, I got you, I understand, I'm totally with you, and you can just leave it at that. Maybe you don't even answer it, but there's that connection there. Then I think that really does help people out to be able to connect with someone, because sometimes people just feel so lonely in their places, physically or emotionally, and they don't really, they see themselves as separate. And so when they're able to connect in a lot of ways, because sometimes we all have our answers, well, you should do this or you should do that, that old saying, well, you don't know until you've walked in my shoes. So I really would like just to kind of emphasize how important it is just to connect with those people. And I know we all have our times where we have our doubts and those things, and so you may have to do your kind of own work about how you might go about reacting in various ways. But truly, I think if you can think about that, that's their perception and where they're coming from, regardless of kind of their intent, I think that'll help us stay in the right place. So hope that helps. I feel depressed, like a dark cloud is over me. People keep telling me to do something, but I just feel like I can't.
Any thoughts?
Well, that's a really great question, and I mean, if you've ever felt sad, it feels bad. If you've ever felt depressed, it's so much worse. And physically and cognitively, emotionally, you can get so wrapped up. And people say depression hurts, and I think there's a lot of truth to that in a lot of different ways. Certainly I felt depressed, down, out before, and it's like so exhausting. Like I can't even pick myself up off of that couch to then go do something, or my thoughts are, what's life? Come on, really? I mean, there's nothing good left in my life, and that kind of stuff. And so it becomes this cycle of just kind of despair, that physically you can't do anything, and cognitively you can't think anything else, and really can't kind of get outside of yourself. And I think you get so stuck in yourself, and you can't really understand kind of like all this other great stuff that's going on that you could really be a part of, because you're so inwardly focused. And so I think behaviorally getting out and just doing anything, while it physically may be exhausting, really opens your world up, and it really opens your world up to a lot of possibilities that can then kind of change that cycle and that spiral. And so I think, if nothing else, if you can't think differently and you can't see your way out of this, one thing that we can do is really just do anything. Go out, sit on your front porch, and I know that seems like, well, what's the point of that? But there's so many things that then could lead to that. You see the sun shining down on you, and that feels good, and and then your neighbor walks by and says hi, and you're like, oh, well, someone recognized me, awesome, and you may have a conversation with them, or you may get out and walk around the neighborhood, or you may call someone and reach out to them. The point of this is, like, if you start something, then things generally along the way kind of get you out of that funk that you're in. And it may just be for the moment, but then you start connecting that experience with the next experience to the next experience, and then your world starts changing a little bit. It's hard to change your world when you're so closed off. Sometimes it does actually spiral into your life. I can't get out of bed, so now I'm not at work, and now my boss is calling and saying, oh, if you don't come to work, then we're going to have to terminate. So it is true that your life can start to spiral out of control. And I know I never want to minimize how much effort it takes for you to do other stuff, and certainly as family members and stuff, just to recognize that it does take a lot. But I think the more that we all are aware, and I think this is a great opportunity to continue to reiterate this idea of everyone's struggles. If we all understand that we felt like that before, and we know what it's like, then it makes it easier for each of us to reach out to each other and go, I got you, I know, I totally understand. How about you come with me, or hey, let's chat after work, or whatever. If we can all kind of rally around each other in various ways, and that's kind of the point of this whole everyone struggles idea, is for us to all kind of just normalize and really kind of get that we all are in those places. That, yes, I said that I had trouble picking myself up off the couch. I don't know if that sounds weird to you. I've actually been depressed before. I've been sad. There's been times where it's like, well, how's life going to get better? I mean, those are things as humans and as people, we all, I think if it's not that, it's something else. People don't like me, or, whatever. We all have social and emotional things that we struggle with time to time. And for us to be able to all understand and really kind of reach out to each other. So if you're struggling with that, as much as we might want other people to reach out to us, certainly reach out to other people and just say, hey, Tami, I am struggling today. I'm really struggling. I'm tired and sad, and this is on my mind. If we can have that conversation with each other, then I think then we'll be in a lot better place. And really, that's the goal of what we're doing here with the show, is just trying to bring you content to really kind of open up that dialogue and start to say, yeah, I guess I did think about that. I didn't think about that before, but yeah, I guess sometimes I start to feel that way. Not only can you have that dialogue, but you can have that dialogue with friends and family and everyone else. This is a way to try to get out in our community and for us to all start to understand that these are things that not only the clinically diagnosed experience, that's something that we all all experience in a variety of ways. So I would encourage each of you and all of us to, as we feel comfortable, be able to discuss with each other those things that we struggle with. And I know kind of in our society and community we feel apprehensive at times because what'll happen if, I'll be judged if I do that. But I think in saying that, if we can all kind of feel comfortable in doing that, then it'll have positive effects on all of us. So in saying that, Tami, I appreciate you inviting us here to Baker and being able to film the show, but also just have a partnership with you guys, Baker. There's a lot of things that we're planning, a lot of exciting things that we're planning. That I think that will certainly push out to you guys and have you be aware of, both here on the Overland Park campus, but also in the community. And definitely we'll be screening that Race to Nowhere documentary here at Baker. And so you'll be definitely hearing more about that. But until next time, take care. Okay, so now what do we do?
What?
What do we do now?
Are you going to answer your question?